Okay, thanks for joining everybody. Welcome to our office hour today. As Emily mentioned, my name is Yannick. I'm working with the technical sales team at EarthSoft, and we want to talk about the new features in EQuiS Enterprise version 6.6 today. So version 6.6, this is our most recent release, and it has been released to our business partners and EQuiS Online clients already, and all other on-premise clients get access to that release on February 13. We have over 50 new features in that release, and I want to just thank you to the EarthSoft Community Center here because we get a lot of good feature requests over there and suggestions, and we incorporated a lot of them into that release, as you will see. So keep posting there. That's really helpful for our development team. We have two new widget types in Enterprise 6.6, the Drilldown widget and the Rdl Reportviewer Widget. I will show you both of these. And then, as usual, we have a huge list of bug fixes. But we don't want to go into these today. We want to focus on the main features. Okay. A lot of the features I will show you have to do with the map widget. You will see that there are a lot of improvements. The first of them, the map widget now supports custom info templates. What does that mean? You all know the little pop-up box that is showing when you click a location on the map widget. And the content of this box can now be customized. That is really helpful and was requested by a lot of people. I'll show you that. We have new labeling and symbology options on the map widget. We can cluster the facility layer. The editor has completely been redesigned. We have histograms. So we want to look at all of these later on. Then we have a couple of other new features like legends on the traffic light widgets and some others, and I will show you examples on all of these. Right? As I said, the new widgets, Rdl Reportviewer. So Rdl, this is the report definition language from SQL Server reporting services. I'll show you that, and the Drilldown widget, which is a really useful one. Okay, with that being said, let's switch to EQuiS Enterprise, and let's actually review these new widgets and new features that we have. Let's switch to my browser. There we go. And I'm already logged in to EQuiS Enterprise. As you can see, I created a quick dashboard here. And by the way, here's something that I want to show you quickly. If you need a complete list of the new features and bug fixes, please review the release notes. And you can find them here in the integrated documentation. So just come to that little question mark on the top right, click on View Documentation, and then find the release notes over here on the left side and select the version 6.6 EQuiS Enterprise, and you see a huge list here of all the new features and fixes. By the way, this little plus icon here indicates a new feature. This little icon here is a bug fix, right? Okay, let's close that quickly and look at the first widget here, which is the traffic light widget. And you see one of the new features already. It is that little legend here. So both the regular traffic light widget and the traffic light map widget have an option now to show the legend or your classifications. And you can select it in the widget properties. It's optional. If you don't want that, you don't have to select it. Right? That is the first one on that traffic light map widget here. And if you look closely, you see that little histogram button here. And I want to show you what that is. If I click on that, you will see that histogram coming up. And this is really, well, kind of a date slider or date picker, right? So I'm now looking at the whole range, and, well, I'm actually seeing the most recent results now on the map. And if I zoom in a bit here, you see that I can scroll over and go a bit back in time, kind of, and do it again over here, and you see that the values here are changing, right? So right now I'm over here and I have a red light here. What does that mean? I can check my legend. My water level is greater or equal to 200. Right? And if I click that, I actually see that 202 point something. And this one here is below or less than 200 actually. It's green light. And I can go back in time a bit here. And now this one suddenly turned red, is over 200 now, and this one is green. So this is just another date that I'm looking at now, right? So you can go back and forth on your measurement dates here. The same also works on the regular map widget. You can enable a histogram there if you have report layers on your map widget, right? For example, an analytical results report with multiple sampling rounds. You can select the date range there, right? So that's another addition to both of the map widgets actually, the traffic light map and the regular map widget. Okay? Legend and histogram over here. Now let's look at the map widget. That's really, well, not completely new, but a lot of new things are going on here. First of all, symbology options. You see, I made these symbols up here for my different location types, and if I go into the properties of the map widget, that hasn't changed really much. The symbology is still under the symbology tab over here. You see the two different symbols that I set up here for my location type, right? This is what separates these. And if I click on new symbol, you see, first of all, how that editor is kind of redesigned. You are kind of going through this step by step now. So you first of all have to select a symbol code. Let's maybe let's just pretend we have surface water sampling locations as well. And then I can select a symbol type. This is not that new. For example, a simple marker symbol. And when I select that, the other features come up as well. So this is kind of the new way this editor here works. And then we have some new features here, like the outline style, the outline color, for example. You can do a dotted outline or something like that, if you like. So there's a little bit more flexibility over here on the map widget, right? For the symbology. Now, one of my favorite features, let me click on one of these points here. This is the info template that I've been talking about. And as you can see, you now can customize that, right? I'm only showing my location code here and the geologist. Previously, we had predefined info templates, but especially for the location layer, you had a lot of information showing here. It was basically all the information from VW location, from the view, from the location view in the database, right? Now you can customize that. Let's see how that works. It is really just HTML code that you put in here. Let's close that. Go into the properties again. And this is where you can do that. Check this box here, custom info template, and put in your HTML code here. This UL is an unordered list in HTML. You don't have to use that, but that kind of looks good. These are the list elements. And over here you see these parts here. We have that dollar symbol and then syslog code in brackets, right, in curly brackets. This is how you put in fields from your VW location view. And you see all the available fields over here on the right side. These can all be used here in your HTML code, right? This is following exactly the same syntax that the traffic light is also using and the traffic light map widget. Okay, $, and then the field name in curly brackets. The same can be used for the info template of the locations on the map widget, and for the info template of the reports on the map widget. So if you add a report to the map widget, you can also set up a custom info template, and then you can use all the fields of the report output, right? For example, report result value and report result unit or something like that. Okay, so pretty powerful. Okay, I already see 2 questions, so let me ask these right away. So for the documentation, this is the first question. The documentation for the custom info template should be in the general documentation of EQuiS Enterprise, but I will just look that up quickly after the call, and then we can send you the link. The other question is, do the files that are linked to a location, like photos, for example, still appear when using custom info template, or do they have to be added as part of the HTML? If you use a custom info template, everything that would be there will be overwritten. So you would have to use it to insert it here in that custom info template somehow. So in other words, add another item here and maybe link directly to the file from DT file. Right? Okay, custom info templates. By the way, if you link to pictures, these pictures will show up as a picture and not as a link here if you do it with the right HTML code. How do you do that in HTML? A good question. So in HTML, you would use a link typically to a file in your DT file table. What I usually do is go to my Explorer widget, find the file that I want to link, right-click the file, then copy out the link address of that file and bring it in here in that HTML code. And let's do that. Let me just send you the code to bring that in HTML then later. All right, custom info template, that's really powerful, and that was asked a lot by you, I think. So thanks for your votes, and good that we have that feature now. Okay, custom info templates. Let's close that quickly over here. And look at something else that is a feature of the map widget. Right? Let me minimize that section actually here and come to the next one. And over here you see two other map widgets. And this one here is using that option to cluster the facility layer. Right? These circles here is what we call clusters. Right? If I go into the properties, you will see that this option is checked here, cluster facility layer, and it has a distance value here. This is a distance that has been used to create these clusters. In other words, a bigger distance will create clusters for locations that have a bigger distance between them, right? Or include them in the same cluster, so to say. So, in other words, we have 12 locations in that cluster over here, for example, and I can click that, and then it will zoom in. Then we'll see that we have 4 locations over here, 5 here, and I can zoom in a bit more, and then at one point I will get so close that the locations actually, are just plotting as single locations instead of these clusters. So if you have facilities with lots of locations, this may come in handy kind of to group them into these clusters, right? Clustering the facility layer. Okay. Here's a question regarding the distance unit, and I have to check into that, but I think these are actually pixels on the map here. So it's not actually a physical unit like miles or something like that, but I think these are pixels, but let me check into that to make sure. Good. Clusters on the map widget. Now let's look at that right map here. This is interesting, and that's also a feature request that we got on the forum. I just used the same report twice here, a water levels report. And let's look at this one first. You see traditionally low values in blue and green and high values in red. That's what we usually do with our classifications, right? Now I have exactly the same report, and if I bring this one in, just notice these points here. We have pretty high values over here. If I bring the other one in, you see these are exactly the ones that are turning green and blue now. So this is just the same report, but the classifications here are just inverted, right? Now I'm plotting high values in blue and green and low ones in red, right? So this wasn't possible in previous versions. In previous versions, you could set the number of breaks of your classification. You could also define specific intervals, but you couldn't change the colors. And that is something that you now can do in the map widget. Let's go in here and look at the layers. You see the two reporting layers in here already. And if I click on new layer, I will just show you how that works quickly. Again, this is a bit different from the user interface here, but we can select a layer type, a user report, for example, put in a title, select the report. I will find one quickly, for example, this one. By the way, you see here in that info template box, here is a feature for the custom info templates. If you want to use that for this report, maybe, and then you can put in your custom code here. Now, if you click next, you can select the symbology, and if you select class breaks over here, this is exactly what we need. We can select the number of breaks. I think I did 4 for that example. You can select what type of symbol you like to use. Maybe a simple marker symbol and a circle here. And then you can click on generate these classes. And you would see, well, in that case, I actually didn't select a field, but here are these classes now. And then you can go in, click edit, and change that style of that class. You can use another symbol, and this is where the color is, where I selected my green and red values and so on. Right? So this is a new feature that lets you define these ranges on the map widget, or these classifications. Okay, one question: is it possible to get REST or SOAP endpoints for these layers for use in other applications? I'm not sure. Let us look into that question to find out if we can do that. Okay, but we will get back to you on that. Okay, map widget, new features to classify your results. It works nicely together with the custom info templates as well. All right, let's minimize that and look at one feature that is pretty easy. You can invert the y-axis on time series charts now. This is exactly the same report that I'm using for both charts here. It's only inverted on the right side. If you look at the y-axis, we have 5 meter to 20 meter here, and over here we have 20 to 5, right? Just inverted. Also another request from the forum, and that is, I think, especially useful for water levels, because, well, it depends on your preferences, I think, but I find it useful there. Okay, so lots of new features for the map widgets, especially these histograms are pretty useful. Now I want to look at the two new widgets that we have actually, and I want to switch over to that tab here where we can review the first one of these, which is that Rdl Reportviewer Widget. Well, these Rdl reports are SQL Server reporting services reports. I don't want to go into much detail about how you set up these reports. This is actually not done in EQuiS Enterprise. It is done in the report builder from Microsoft SQL Server, but you can publish these reports and use them in EQuiS Enterprise. They are very flexible. As you can see, we have these spark lines here. Just an example, you can bring in other images or charts and tables and actually even maps with these reporting services over here. This widget integrates with other EQuiS Enterprise widgets, for example, with the Analyte filter that I have here. Let's see what happens if I select benzene here. That widget will update and show all our spark lines for every location for the benzene concentrations. There we go. Now we're looking at benzene. And if I switch over to vinyl chloride, you will see that these actually change and show vinyl chloride concentrations now. So these can be exported, including all the charts and the table and so on. We have this little export button here. And here we actually also have Word exports that wasn't available before, so kind of a new export file type here in EQuiS Enterprise, right? If you used active reports a lot in the past, these maybe come in handy for you. Active reports are still available, but these Rdl reports can do a lot what they can do, and they can do it a bit more efficiently, right? So customized reports, very flexible. Download them here in EQuiS Enterprise and integrates with other reporting, with other widget types here, I guess. Okay, that was the first new widget, that report viewer, Rdl report viewer. Yes, very good question in the chat window. What was it showing before I selected benzene over here? Because I actually didn't filter, and you got me with that one, because when I do not filter here, it's actually showing a combination of benzene and vinyl chloride over here, which doesn't make that much sense, right? So you have to be a bit careful on how you set up your report here. Right. Okay, let's look at the next new widget that we have. Just need to switch dashboards quickly here and find that with the Drilldown widget. This one is completely new. You see I set up two examples over here. First of all, this one, the top one, is showing the water depths for 4 different locations. And it is averaging the water depth, sorry, it is not showing the average, it is showing the maximum water depths of each of these locations, right? B30, 20 meter, B31, 17.71 meter. If you click on that, that is why it is called drill down. It will drill down and show all the individual measurements at that location. And in that case, it is showing the water levels over time. You see it's going up a bit, and down again, and up a bit here. So this is why it is called drill down. You can go back here, select it for B31. The max value is 17.71. Drill down here, and you see over here this is a max value, and we'll see all the other values as well. Right? One example for a drill down widget. The other one here with analytical results, we see values for MTBE and benzene. We're seeing the maximum value right now for all locations. Now if I click on MTBE, sorry, not for all locations, but for all tasks actually, so for all the different sampling rounds. And if I drill down there, you see every individual task, so groundwater 97, quarter 1, and so on. And the maximum one is that one here, which is groundwater 98, quarter 2, right? So you can go back here, do the same for benzene if you like. The maximum value is 57 something. You see it over here, which is that top one here. Okay. For setting these up, let me show you the properties quickly. You select a report, then you select the method you like to use to aggregate your fields. In that case, we're looking at maximum values. So we select max here, can also use average count, minimum, and the sum. And then you select the field that should be used for that aggregation and the unit. That unit is optional. If you don't have any units, for example, for location parameters or counts or something like that, you don't need to select a unit. And then you select the different drill down, well, kind of layers that you're using there, right? The different ways to do that, we can use bar charts, column charts, and pie charts if you prefer that, right? So that is the other totally new widget here, the drill down widget. So Rdl report viewer, flexible for lots of reports, and the drill down widget for these bar charts, column charts, and pie charts that are kind of interactive when you work with them. So first question, do you have to apply more than one drill down layer in the editor? In other words, can this be used as a simple bar chart that isn't time series related? I believe the answer to that is yes. I think you have to use multiple layers instead of using a single one. So it's not really working as a workaround for that chart, I think. But if that's not true, I will let you know. Where can I find the release notes for version 6.6 without installing it? That's a good question. And let me show you quickly, actually. I'm logging into our EQuiS Community Center, or EarthSoft Community Center. You can find that at community.earthsoft.com. Let me actually paste that into the chat window so you can review that. You can log in here with your username. If you don't have a username yet, then click on Get Started to sign up there. And over here, you can find lots of infos and forum posts for all our products, but also the release notes for every new release. So let's see. Let me just check, search for release notes over here, and then maybe Enterprise. And that is release Enterprise version 6.6.0. And you see a little summary over here, actually, of all the new features and more details. And over here, there are the release notes. So if you click on that, you can review these in your browser if you like. Now, next question, what happens if I click at the 3 lines in the right upper corner of the drill down widget? Let's find that, the 3 lines. Yes, good question. You can export that image that you're seeing here. So if I click on that, you can either print that out if you like, or you can export it into different image formats, or actually convert it into a PDF document if you like.
One other feature, Yannick, that I just wanted to mention really quick that is sort of hidden within the filter list widget is you now have the ability to build a filter list with your locations as well as analytes, and I know that was a popular one on the community center as well. And so, yeah, so if you guys take a look there at what Yannick is doing, this is the filter list widget, and so you can now, he showed us how to filter on Analyte when he was talking about the RDL viewer, that you can also build a filter list for your location, which is pretty handy. Not that you asked my opinion, Yannick, but that might be one of my favorites.
Yes, it is. It is actually pretty handy. I agree.
Yeah, we would just like to see the filter function by location actually in use. So do you filter, it would be like a list of syslow codes?
Yes, exactly. Let me show you an example. We looked at that map widget, right, with the reports on here. So let's find that one here. So this map widget on here had the reports on it, right? these water level reports. And if I add that filter list widget, I actually will do it quickly here. So add widget, filter list. Let's drag that on top of the map widget, so that may work. And if I go into the properties here, then I have to select filter on location here, right? So that is a new feature. The others were there before as well. So we can do that. And then from that list on the right side here, I can select which locations actually should show up on my filter here. So it is showing all my locations from the database. I can add all if I want to be able to filter for all of them. If I only want to allow filtering for these 4 maybe, I can set up only these if I like. So let's click Save, and then you will see what's actually happening if I do that. So if I filter here for B30, and notice the map widget here, then that will filter for only that location B30, right? Only these results are showing now. So if I do the same for B31, it's only showing B31. And that is exactly the same with all the other widgets in EQuiS Enterprise, actually. If you have a chart, for example, a time series chart, then only your results for B31 will be shown now. Or actually for reports, if you have easy view widgets with reports and select a location filter here, if you select the report then, it will only contain the results for that location.
So that, oh, go ahead.
Go on. I was going to say, and it's Carl here. How does that affect then when you use the dashboard facility chooser and change your facility to a facility that doesn't contain location B31?
Mm-hmm. A good question. I would have to try it actually. Well, I guess once you set it up, this B31 is probably be available there, even if you have another facility there. But I can find out. Let's see what happens then.
Yeah, we can look into that. That's a good question, Carl.
So is that the sysflow code we're looking at? Your B-31 is what the sysflow code is? Or can you select what? Okay, so you can only see the sysflow codes for selecting.
Well, I believe it's a syslog code here, and in brackets, it's the log name, I think, the location name. So in that case, it's the same, but that location name should show up as well here.
Okay. And so you can't filter by location group with that widget. You can only filter by sysflow codes.
Yes, exactly. So let's check. Right, we have location, but location group would be another addition here. That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if you have like a lot of wells in your facility, like 4,000, you don't want to be shuffling through 4,000 sysflow codes to find the wells that you want to filter by. But if you have your stuff already bundled into location groups, that would be a good, useful.
That's a good idea. Yep.
Yeah, we all want to filter by location group. Agreed.
Yeah, I saw that. Thanks, John. Yeah, we can get that one written up for the discussion forum if it's not already on there, and we'll send you guys a link so you can vote for that one.
Exactly.
A good idea.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thanks Heather. Thanks, Yannick, for that little bonus session there. But thank you guys very much for attending and for all your great questions. And again, Yannick, thanks for presenting. And have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.